Half at the Superdome in the national championship game. Steve Alford with 4 3-pointers, including one at the buzzer, and Indiana 1 point up on Syracuse at halftime. Jim Nance back on our set here at the Superdome, and I'm delighted to be joined by college basketball's Player of the Year, David Robinson of Navy. David,
Congratulations on an outstanding career.
Thanks. It's been a magic carpet ride for me. Aside from all the hoopla, I think that I'm going to remember the biggest thing. My teammates' relationships. The other seniors on my team have been with me for 4 years. I like to say hello to Carl Lieber and Doug Wojcik. They've been great to me, and I'm going to remember them more than all the awards or anything else we've done this year.
David, your future. You graduate at Annapolis on May the 20th. Now, to let the folks know, the Naval Academy has trimmed your 5-year commitment down to 2 years because of your 7-foot frame, which leaves you with 2 options. The NBA next year on a part-time basis or more, or possibly wait a year and play for the United States in the Olympics. What are you thinking right now?
Well, right now, it's been tough for me because we've been playing so much in the season, and now after the season, I've been doing a lot of traveling, and it's been a real busy time for me. So I haven't had a lot of time to stop and look into things. So I guess I'll be making a decision real soon, but right now I have no idea what I'm going to do.
What would it take for you to stay and compete in the Olympics in '88?
Well, I had a great experience at the World Championships. I had a lot of fun with my teammates, a lot of fun traveling, and that alone it makes it attractive to go to play in the Olympics. So, both things have a lot of things that attract me to them.
David, with the commitment being trimmed from 5 years to 2 years, it was greeted with some controversy in some corners. Do you feel any mixed emotions at all since you were an exception in that rule?
Well, I don't feel like they're making a big exception for me. It's been kind of a two-way thing. I've done a lot for them, and they've done obviously a lot for me. So I feel good that they understand my position and they help me out some.
You mentioned Ronnie Cycli. You two were teammates on that World Championship team in Madrid last year. In fact, your Navy team knocked Syracuse out of the tournament last year, so you've seen a lot of Ronnie Cycli. How much has this guy improved?
Oh, I saw him play this summer a little bit, and even from last year to this summer, he improved a lot. And I saw, at the beginning of the season, I thought he was just going to dominate the Big East and everything. And I was a little surprised that he started off slow, but in the tournament, he's been doing a great job.
Who do you like in the second half, David?
Oh, I have to go with the big man, Ronnie, and Syracuse. I think they're playing real well and real confidently right now.
David, thank you for joining us, and thank you for many special memories. Good luck in the future.
Thank you very much.
And we'll continue with a look at the state of college sports when we continue live at the Superdome, the national championship game, in just a moment.
Okay, time to buy some life insurance. Now, who are the companies offering whole life? I want protection plus cash value build-up. Whoa, better cut that down. So, who are the top companies? Ah, that did it. Okay, now the biggie. Whose policies make more money? I want the top-rated company. Oh, Northwestern Mutual Life. That's all I needed to know. I'm going to give one of their agents a call.
We read the headlines. Now we know drugs kill. We've seen it happen. And now there's no good excuse for messing up your life with drugs. Drugs don't help you in the classroom. They don't impress the girls. And drugs certainly don't help you put the ball in the basket. Drugs just make you a loser. That's all there is to it. You're a loser if you're taking drugs. So say no to drugs. After all, you can't be a hit if you're high.
Something to think about from the NCAA. It's not too early
To plan to attend one of the nation's most
exciting sporting events. Next year, see college basketball at its best. To receive your 1988 NCAA Final Four ticket application, call 913-262-1988 during business hours, or write the NCAA at 1988 Final Four Tickets, P.O. Box 1906, Mission, Kansas 66201. Remember, call 913-262-1988 during business hours for a ticket application.
This message furnished by the NCAA.
Capture the drama and excitement of the 1987 NCAA Final Four in New Orleans by ordering the official souvenir program. It's the most watched event in college sports, and the official program captures all the Final Four's magic moments. The 1987 official program has colorful features, sparkling photos, and up-to-date information on all 4 teams. Order your copy by sending $7 to 1987 Final Four program, P.O. Box 1987A, Lexington, Kentucky 40593, 1987. Please allow 4 to 6 weeks for delivery.
This message furnished by the NCAA.
Indiana leading it in the national championship game, 34-33. Right now, let's go to my colleague, James Brown, who's outside the Indiana locker room. James?
All right, Jim, Indiana has to feel somewhat comfortable going into the locker room with a 1-point halftime lead because they're being out-rebounded 25-18 overall. The big story on the offensive board, Syracuse leading that 9-3. Syracuse has missed a lot of easy shots, and that old nemesis free throw shooting has been hurting. Indiana can take control in the second half if they can solve the rebounding riddle. Back to you, Jim.
All right, James, you know, this is a big night for college sports, a celebration of a tournament that has become one of the major events in our sporting calendar. But beneath all the hoopla and the trappings is evidence of growing pains, crises that are documented in the daily newspapers and on the evening news, recruiting scandals, drug abuse, illegal payments, and so forth. Now, to give us a better idea of where things stand, CBS Sports has sought out some of the major personalities in and around the collegiate community to get their views on the current state of campus life and college sports.
Everybody sees the dollar sign. Clink, clink, the cash register rings. And I read an article one time by a writer from New Haven, Register, Connecticut, by the name of George Wadley. And I think if I could steal from him, he best describes, I think, the present condition. He says, what's the problem with major college athletics today? He says, it's patently obvious. It's greed. Who's to blame? The administrators, the NCAA, the coaches, and yes, even we in the media. We live off of it.
I think that probably the miracle is not that we have an SMU every now and then, but we don't. The miracle is that we don't have an SMU a day, given the tremendous pressures on the coaches and the amount of money and so forth that are involved in this process now.
I don't think there's any question it's big business. The basketball game we're watching tonight is worth about $1 million to each team, I guess, or close to it. No, I think it's big business, but that doesn't mean it has to be dirty business.
After we played a game in the NCAA tournament, that was said on the bus on the way back home that we had to shoot a couple of free throws, and one of the people on the bus had said that was for about $100 and some thousand, and it really shook us up because we really don't think about those things out on the court when you're playing.
Television, in my view, is not the cause of the problems. It is part of the issue, to be sure. But what the colleges do with the money that we pay them is the crucial issue.
People take a look at the big television contracts and they think that universities are making millions and millions of dollars through their athletic programs, so this is why we have all the abuses that college presidents are willing to turn their heads, and athletic directors and coaches for that revenue. The fact is there's a few schools that are doing very well financially, while most of us are just struggling to make ends meet.
I told our kids, our student body, I was speaking to them last November, and that question came up. Coach, what do you think about drug testing athletes? I said, hey, if they made me president for a day, I'd drug test all of you. And they all laughed and got a big kick out of that. And I said, and the reason I would is to find out if some of you have a problem. And if you got a problem, then let's do something about it. And that's why I'm all for drug testing.
Universities are supposed to teach our children respect for other people's rights, and here's an organization of schools running roughshod over those rights.
And when the NCAA is trying to make a point for as athletes should be the same as students, and I believe if you're going to test athletes, then therefore you have to test all the students and everyone else involved in life in general. But to point out an athlete, I think that's stereotyping an athlete and making him look like that he's a drug user when you have to mandatory testing.
The athletic department ought to come under the same scrutiny that the library comes under, the facilities for your engineering school and what have you. And if the athletic department is found wanting, they should not be accredited.
I think that once you see a person that has encountered the educational experience of athletics and gone into society and been able to adjust, I think that that's very good. But so many of the kids live in the fantasy part of athletics that they aren't able to make that adjustment, and that's what you find very frightening at times. That athlete should take from that institution educational skills sufficient to allow him to live as a normal and productive and contributing citizen in this high-tech society. If he does not take that, then he has been ripped off.
I want him to go away and say, well, I learned more in basketball than in any class I took in Indiana. Basketball was by far the most educational experience that I had when I was at Indiana. And if that kid says, well, chemistry 401 was my, and I want to find out what the hell that guy is teaching in chemistry 401, because I ought to be teaching it in basketball.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship will continue with second half action.